The story of Bonnie and Clyde. You've read the story of Jesse James, of how he lived and died. If you're still in need of something to read, here's the story of Bonnie and Clyde.
Welcome to our wiretappers who follow the podcast and to our YouTube subscribers. This is the first episode of a multi-part series on Bonnie and Clyde. For those that don't know, I'm retired Kansas City Police Intelligence Unit Sergeant Gary Jenkins. I produce and host the true crime podcast Gangland Wire. My traveling companion for this trip is retired Kansas City Police Canine Sergeant Kate Kozel. We hope you enjoy our week-long motorcycle tour of Bonnie and Clyde sites in the Midwest. We'll make stops in Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, Texas, and Louisiana. I'm riding a Kawasaki Z1000 and Kate drives a Yamaha YZF 600. Now, Clyde Barrow thought the Ford Flathead was fast, but if he robbed banks today, he'd be wanting to steal my Kawasaki Z1000, and Bonnie'd have to have Kate's Yamaha. Before we start, don't forget to listen to the podcast Gangland Wire for many other stories of organized criminals, skyjackers, serial killers, and other criminals out of the Midwest. Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker were Depression-era Robin Hood-style bandits who caught the imagination of the entire country. This was during the Depression. I think most poor folks during that time, Midwest farmers particularly, liked the idea that someone took money out of those same banks who had foreclosed on their homes and farms. During the 1920s, both Bonnie and Clyde's parents moved from the country to West Dallas, Texas. Clyde Barrow's father raised his large family in a small house attached to a gasoline station. Bonnie Parker was an attractive young girl raised by her widowed mother who had been forced by financial circumstances to move in with her parents in Dallas. In 1926, at age 16, Bonnie Parker married 18-year-old Roy Thornton. Bonnie quickly realized Thornton was not going to stay at home and work a regular job, and that he would be going on crime sprees for months at a time. In 1927, she wrote in her journal,
I love him very much and miss him terribly, but I intend on doing my duty. I'm not going to take him back. I'm running around with Rosemary Judy, and she's somewhat a consolation to me. We have resolved this New Year's to take no man or nothing seriously. Let all men go to hell, but we're not going to sit back and let the world sweep by us.
And during this time, Clyde was coming up his teenage years in, a reasonably close neighborhood. He'll start stealing cars, car parts, gasoline, graduated to burglaries, armed robbery. Texas authorities once arrested Clyde and his brother Buck for stealing turkeys. One fateful day in January 1930, Clyde's visiting a friend in West Dallas where he was introduced to a 19-year-old Bonnie Parker. It was love at first sight, and they will be together for the rest of their lives. Okay. We are getting ready to leave. There's the old Chevy and the old Toyota. Kawasaki, pretty well loaded up, ready to go. I even combined and washed it a little bit, cleaned it off yesterday. Looks like I didn't get up underneath there very good, but that'll be dirty pretty quickly anyhow. So I got an electric car. There's the King. President and the King, little look at my garage. For my movie on the Underground Railroad when I showed it. You guys may not know I have an Underground Railroad movie. This is my garage I had put on the house recently, and I've actually kept where I have, like, my tools are all put up, artwork for my son on the walls. Bonnie and Clyde, they were like these Robin Hood characters, like Dillinger had kind of cool rhyming names. You ever notice that? Like Mickey Mantle, great baseball name. Babe Ruth. It's names that just kind of go together. John Dillinger, Pretty Boy Floyd, even Pretty Boy Floyd's buddy, Adam Ricchetti, Buck Barrow, Blance Barrow. I mean, these guys all got W.D. Jones, who is a C.W. Moss character in the Michael J. Pollard, who just turned 80 today on the day we're leaving, which is kind of interesting. So, I'm going to sign off now and head over to Kate's. All right, here we go, out to the neighborhood. Get a little shot of my neighborhood as we're going through. Oop, camera went view. crisis averted. We got it fixed. Couldn't get the light bulb seated in, but Kate did it.
Oh yes, thank God, crisis averted.
Now, folks, I want you to notice the difference in my garage and Kate's garage. I'm sorry, Kate. I couldn't help that.
There's a big difference. But now I've moved so many family members and stuff in here, that's why.
All right, you store stuff for people, huh?
Basically.
I don't. That's a slippery slope once you start down there storing stuff for people. All right, we're going to put these together and head out. Next time you hear from us, it'll probably be about Fort Scott, maybe. We're going to stop and eat somewhere down there.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'll be hungry.
Kate,
Hi.
what do you think of this?
I think it's awesome.
What do you think of Big Brutus?
I think it's pretty cool.
It's amazing. I just like, first time I heard about this, I couldn't believe it, and I happened to be down this area and this thing. Well, we're going to show you all some pictures from inside. It is the damnedest thing you ever saw. Let's get up here a little closer to it.
Can you imagine? Oh, film over here. You can stand on that, Gary. I'm not going to.
No.
That's past my comfort level.
Is that past your comfort level?
Yeah.
We're really not near close to the top either.
Well,
So are you impressed?
I'm very impressed.
You're very impressed. You would be.
Oh, there's birds in here. What this must have sounded like when it was running.
Oh, there's like an office inside. Oh yeah, I can't even imagine what it would have sounded like. I guarantee you, anybody that worked around this thing for over the period of time was deaf. Later years of their life. Oh, here's the controls. All right, Kate, get up there and sit down.
Okay.
See what you look like.
Put my gloves on.
All right.
Oh yeah. So I would suspect that one of these is each side,
Yeah.
maybe, and that's how you turned it. And then
Go
this
ahead.
is how you went forward.
Pick up the bucket and get a big scoopful. Let's see how
Oh
it
yeah,
works.
okay, hold on. Give me just a minute. I think somebody else must have controlled that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What? Left retract. Retract.
Oh, here it is. This is where
Down.
it was. Yeah.
There
And
must
then
be
this is how you
that's
drove
for
it.
the tracks down there that move
Yeah.
forwards and backwards now. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I bet there's maybe a control on the other side that.
Well, I think this was over here when you would do that. I
Oh,
don't
I
know,
see.
but there's one on each side. Oh, well, each side of the cables.
Oh yeah, there is two. Huh. Yeah. See that guy out there in that boat?
Yeah.
Dig up a big load
I'll
out
go
there.
scoop him up some fish.
Scoop him up some fish.
You want a big catfish? I'll get you a big catfish.
This is amazing. There's your normal sized cranes over there, and they look like little toys
Yeah, they do, don't
compared to
they?
this.
This is amazing. God, how cool would have this been to drive this and scoop up the ground? But once you scooped up the ground, it wasn't like you could go much further.
You just turn and drop it in the truck, probably. I mean, a whole scoopful, one scoopful would fill up a whole truck, I imagine. All right, it's even got like a little office you can come back in here
I'd like a 3-scoop swimming pool.
and. Yeah, really. That is. We'll walk up a little closer there. There it is, folks. That's where Joey Doves, or Joey OBrien, or Joey Iupa, I believe, got those 500 doves all processed and ready to go for the trip back to Chicago, where the FBI was already watching him do this and alerted some federal fish and game people, and they popped him just as they got to his house in the north side of Chicago. This is a meat market, deli, and catering event hall. Interesting.
Very interesting.
What about a man?
Yeah. Lord have mercy.
Almost lost your sunglasses. You got it?
Damn, that helmet is tight. All right.
Woo!
Hey, wiretappers, here we are, halfway across, 3/4 of the way across Missouri. We're in Kansas right now.
We are.
Kate's handling the phone right now. We ate Fort Scott. I didn't get it out there. I was too tired. That was like a long haul when it came.
It was a long haul there.
God, people might rather sit here you than me. Anyhow, we're in Frontenac, Kansas, where, like I said, Joey Doves killed all those doves, or Joey Iupa. And there's around the corner, there's another restaurant that we'll get a picture of in a minute that was here then, and he used to eat there. I got the, go back and listen to my podcast on Joey Iupa back, God, this is about 3 years ago, because I got the FBI files, got a lot of really good information. They were all over him during his hunting trip down here. What I find interesting is they redacted all the names of the guys from Kansas City that met him down here. There was 2 or 3 they called gangsters from Kansas City that were with him, but they redacted their names for some reason. They're bad about that, redacting everybody's name that they don't know for sure is dead, even though this was, God, when was this? In the 1960 maybe? In the early 60s, I think early 60s. He was a person of note at the time, so go back and listen to that podcast. We'll drive around the corner and get a shot of that restaurant here in a minute. This is an old mining town. The reason there's so many, there's a strong Sicilian contingency of people that live here because there's mines around here, and they came over after the turn of the century in the early 1900s to work the mines. So then all the Sicilians came over. A large group of Sicilians ended up in Frontenac, Joplin, Pittsburgh, Kansas, Joplin, Missouri.
What did they mine for?
God, I think it was lead. And there's still like strip mines around here. People come fishing at the strip mines in this area, where they just dug down and didn't fill the holes back up. It was a big fishing spot now. There's no more mining activity, I don't think, around here. So, having said all that, we ought to walk inside and see what Lucas looks like.
Let's do it.
Okay. The inside of Palooka's. See the meat market? That's right. Back there's by where they cut up and dress those doves out. How you doing? I'm not filming you guys. It's the inside of Palooka's here, folks. Interesting. Well, wiretappers, I know we didn't see any Bonnie and Clyde sights, but we had a lot of fun seeing Big Brutus and going to the actual locker plant where Joey Iupa had his 500 doves processed. And tomorrow we will go to the first Bonnie and Clyde site, the hideout that they had in Joplin, Missouri, where there was a huge shootout, and all those famous photos that you've seen of Bonnie and Clyde, Bonnie standing there with holding a cigar and holding guns and all that kind of thing, those were found in a camera that they had to leave behind inside this apartment. And another little sidelight about this Joplin, Missouri apartment is it's now an Airbnb. We didn't know that before we left. We ended up staying in the Hampton Inn tonight. So on to Joplin.